Hey there, welcome back guys. In this video we're going to show you how to put together the filament spooler. You'll be able to take your old spools and wind them up and combine them so that it's all one spool. So without any further ado, let's get started. Special thanks to one of our viewers / subscribers, Photo72, who actually sent us all the information on this so that we can put it together. As you can see, it's really easy, well, sort of easy. It'll probably take you 2 or 3 days to print, but we managed to do it in one by pulling an all-nighter. So without any further ado, let's get started so that you too can get this jingabawiggy going and combine all your spools into one color. Come. All right, so here's our setup. Finally printed, our last piece right here, really well. Some was printed on the Ender 3S1 Pro, and other parts were printed on the Creality High combo series. So we have different colors happening, but as you can see here, right, we have a bird's eye view of everything, but I will show you guys everything from the side so that you can get an idea. This part's probably the most difficult one to print, the one in the middle. All these pieces here on this side were pretty good. This one turns, no, I think on the other side it's counterclockwise. The trick is now getting everything lined up. So if you want to take this off, you turn this that way. So I just basically wrote off. But other than that, it turns. So we're gonna try and finagle it so that things work just right for you. So probably do this one first. What about here? Line it up, right? Mark the holes, but it's not really dead center because the piece is an odd piece. And then what we'll do is we'll mark it, right, with a marker. Just need to make sure that they are perfectly aligned, right, to the extent where, so that it will fit. That's hole number 1. Whoops, don't break your stuff. Hole number, you want it to be straight with the marker. Hole number 2. Hole number 3. And, oops. Hole number 4. I guess this is like $1 something, and this was like $4 or $5. We have the 1 inch, and then we have the 1 1/4. Doesn't matter, I believe, which one. 1 inch should be sufficient, right? Because hopefully, you know, we don't want it to crack the wood or anything, right? So we've got one, and you know, you decide which one you want to put in first, or break your newly printed 3D piece. And for this, we can remove this, take this off, take that off, because it's not on there permanently as of yet. It did take a while to finagle it, to get it to print. We did this on a live stream. So for those of you who want to see it, maybe even a regular screwdriver will work on this particular end. Just to get that angle so that it's straight, just use a regular screwdriver because the drill bit is a tad big. See? And we can do it so that the screwdriver works right for us. Perfect. Now that we have that, and then keep it straight. And no problem, we could use the screwdriver or the drill, but we just want it straight, you know? If you have a train to catch, feel free to go catch it. Put this on, don't screw it in as of yet. I mean, you could if you need to, like that's this piece right here, see? At least I thought it was. This one, presumably, once it goes on. So we put this on, move that out of the way, and just turn it. See, now that it's in, hopefully, it should turn it. See, but we want to make sure that this is somewhat all the way on there, so that, see, like that, and then that can be like that, and then I believe now we'll turn this, be able to find itself in the correct hole. See, much easier to thread it. Now, then you can align this by moving that, you know, but as long as it works and turns, we can finagle all the other stuff later, okay? Like, you know, fixing that. Well, that won't be fixed until we get this on. So now we have here, see, right about there. So now we want to make sure these are straight and go into the correct hole so that when we hold it, so you hold it, and it should turn. See that? And we'll fix all the other stuff later. Kind of neat, huh? Gotta love it. Can't move any cotton or sweaters. All right, so now I think we're gonna mark the holes. That's the distance. You can't really measure the distance because, you know, your printer may have printed this a little bit bigger or smaller. So then we're gonna mark 1, 2, and then make sure it's straight. 3 and 4. So this doesn't need to be here for that because we just need for the holes, see how the distance is, to be straight. That's all. And you can go pretty deep, but keep your hole straight and don't go into the concrete. Okay, and that's 1. This one's a little bit tricky, but the good thing is that, oh no, we threaded it on, so then we'll have to be careful with this one because we want it to be, actually, you know what, we'll do that one last because I want to take it off so that I make sure it's straight and not at an angle. Okay, and then this one, whoops. And the reason why we're drilling is to keep the holes straight. As you saw in the beginning, we weren't successful with keeping the holes straight. And we can just dust that off. And then now for the other one, for that one, I'd recommend undoing it so that we can get a straight hole. So, and then it won't come off. And now take that off, and we should be able to get a straight hole in there so that everything will be golden. There, somewhat. Everything is correct. We should be able to get 4 screws into the holes, okay? See? Easy. You could also use the drill. Doesn't have to be the screwdriver. The drill will be just as good, but now these screws are flat and flush. So, whereas in the beginning, we only got one flush. See, those starter holes really do work, and you can move it around and finagle it until you have that dead on point you want, but you have to make sure that stays like that so that we can move it and turn it without a problem. It's easier when it's on, but in this case we're gonna have to looks like there might be enough room in there, but you know what, let's take it off since this one comes off easily, and it'll give us the room that we need to finagle everything so that it works just right for you. Okay, and then we have here, that hole is perfect, right on the marker. It will just do everything it needs to do. Go round and round. And the last one, the last hole is a little sketchy, but we got it. You could always flip the board over, and use the other side, but hopefully you won't have to, because it's kind of tight in here. See, we don't want that. So that means we can tighten this one, right? And then we can tighten that one. And even though we're tightening them, they may not be ideal because we have to maneuver it, the parts. So that takes care of that. And so far, yeah, it looks pretty good. See? And if we put this on, now we know that we are somewhat golden. Finagle this part right here. See? Screw that on. But you want to make sure that this thing is flush, okay? You could always take it off and do it. See? You just want that to be like that. And then you can just squeeze that in into these little congs, and it should fit because remember it was just on, so it's just finding that, see, right position so that everything works just right for you. Once that's on, we can make it tighter with this one, and then test it. Whoops, don't break your stuff. And then test it. See, make sure it turns. Wow. But we're not out of the woods just yet. It has to, you know, we still got to get it to work. And the filament is on wrong, so what you have to do here, whoa, don't break your stuff. Strange how the camera, there we go. So this has to go like this. This part is tricky, and this was a pain to print. I might shave this down a little bit. If you guys have a little, if it's too rough for you, you can shave that down. So I haven't done it yet, but I think I will. So again, this part is tricky because you have to open the gap, right? And then drop it in, right? And then turn it or push it in. See? Now that it's in, now we can tighten this part. And if it's too taut in between on the top, I recommend shaving it with a Dremel or sandpaper if you can. For me, I might use the Dremel, the other Dremel, the hardcore Dremel. See, because it's really tight, but it goes back. It's just when it reaches its end point. Whoop, except the filament's tangling up. So the filament is on wrong. Should be able to, remember, off, the off. So we just have to turn it that way to take it off. See, everything's turning smoothly, and the filament has to just go, I'll show you. Take it off, see? Comes off, because it has this one, the long one on that side. We actually did this on a live stream. We'll move the board, okay? This goes like this. And then we just turn it ever so lightly, slightly. Now, see, that's like that. And this is like this, but look, the filament is on the top, see? And then run it. I'll show you how we're gonna run it, but this part's tricky because, as you can see, it's like a slinky. The filament just wants to go where it wants to go. So now we can do this one. Remember, that way is off, so you're gonna turn it towards you to put it on, okay? And now, we're not turning it off, we're turning it on. So that part is trickier. Yay, it's turning. So as it turns, put it back right on the gear and just keep turning it until the position is just right. See? And then now, if you look, everything should just work. This is really cool. So what we'll do is we will put that through there. It should be just as good. You know, the Bowden tube might work a little bit better. Just gonna move everything out of the way. It has to be evenly on there and straight, okay? And of course, as you can see, filament is backwards, so it's actually, this one we could probably just spin around. This one can go either way because look, see that? Now the filament's the correct direction because this is, no matter which way you turn this spool, left or right, it's gonna be okay. Go here, and especially this is special thanks to Photo 72. They sent us the STL. Usually we have a 3D print of the week, and they're like, do this. This is a good one. Afix gave us the car the last time, and Photo 72 gave us this one, which is phenomenal. Make sure these holes are straight, Right, so we got one. This is great. And I only recommend printing it if you're going to use it. I got the SUNLU many months back. SUNLU filament thingy where you can combine. You needed this, something like this, because the filament just gets tangled and doesn't spool correctly unless you have something like this, which is phenomenal. Now, it doesn't matter where it's lined up because you are going to make sure it's screwed in to the holes. See? 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Again, you could use your drill or your screwdriver. It doesn't always put the screws in straight. Started printing it. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I gotta have it. You know, like, I want it. I want it now. Give it to me now. See? And then just finagle it. Check the other screw, like you can move it or loosen it if need be. Darker and lighter, but that's okay. I don't mind it because I don't know how much is left. You could put it on the scale and then do it that way, but that's okay, like I showed during the SUNLU. So here's the SUNLU. We're gonna turn it on, get some power to it. See, it's set for PLA. Make sure it's set to the correct temperature that you want. So we have there. At an angle, make sure there's no remnants of, I'm not sure what that is, but we don't want it. Okay, and then just cut it here at another angle. Just make sure it's not tangled. Run it through. Again, you could use the Bowden tube attachment. There's one that prints just for PLA, and there's one that you can, use a Bowden tube and put it through. The SUNLU, see, they give you these little plastic things. Whoops. And you could use a razor blade. There's a splicer on there to help you cut it when it's fused together. Make sure it's on. See, now we have it here. Now we're going to, whoops, accidentally shut it off. Now it is hot, so be careful. See, that's the blade in there. I'll show you how we do everything. You could be on a flat surface, right? Like that. Ow, don't burn yourself. And then put it back in here. I thought maybe I can do it while I was holding it. So then we put this in like that. See, this part is tricky because you have to be somewhat acrobatic and hold it, because otherwise it'll come out. So just hold it. It should beep. See? Hold it. Let it fuse. And then what we'll do is score it. This is like a little scoring thing. Leave it there. I think it's good enough. And then we press it, and then now that it's scored, you have to find with your finger that one particular area. Oh, I think I see it. Where it'll just come apart. See? And it should be fused. So it's scored it. Scored just means cut a line, visible line that you have to find. And then you just pull it from behind and see, voila. And now it's fused together. You got dark gray and gray. Now we can spool this like this. I think I'm gonna run it all the way through, right? We have to move this away. We have this attached to a little 5-volt charger. So it's pretty even here, right? And this is what happens when you do it by hand. You don't want that. There we go. Now we got it working. I had to put tape on this side so it would hold. Otherwise, this will just keep spinning. So just take tape, put it on the other side, or it doesn't have to be tape, any sort of adhesive that will allow it so it doesn't spin this spool on this. So it just stays stuck on there so that when you turn it, it's a solid experience. And look at that. And we just wind it up. Kind of neat, huh? And then when it reaches the other end, it'll like feel like it's locked, and then it just works its way back into the other way. See, and we're almost done. And there's a spool right there, just winding up. You spin me right and around, baby. Right round. Gotta love it. Kind of neat, huh? Special thanks, Photo72. We appreciate this. You sending this and leading us in the direction. We actually printed this on a live stream. So we were helped along the way on what to do, what not to do. I do recommend, there's another STL file, one that will allow you to put the Bowden tube here so that you just cut a piece that's right for you, and then it'll just prevent this from doing that. So moving forward, I'm probably going to print this one again, but the bigger one. If it doesn't fit, just take the tip of a soldering iron, run it through, and then you're fine, you're golden, and then you can just keep on rolling. I like how you roll. It's kind of neat, huh? Again, and oh, we're almost done. You might want to have one of those filament things handy that allows you to clip here, because what will happen is, as you can see, it wound it up really nicely, but it might turn into a slinky if you just let it go. So we'll leave it like that. Print the clip or use whatever tape. Remember, as you can see, there's tape in between there to hold the spool together. And that's pretty much it. Kind of neat, huh? Gotta love it. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope this video helped you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for other videos. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.